Welcome to Think About It Using Common Sense. It's been a busy week, couple of weeks, but what's really been in the news, and I don't know a lot about Wall Street, but we're using common sense here, and we're talking about Silicon Valley. The bank went belly up along with another bank, but uh, from what I'm hearing, excuse me, there's a mismanagement of funds. So the bankers or whoever's in charge of investing um, was taking big risk with the shareholders or the people who had money in the bank, and come to find out that the money was gone. But before the money went, or before the Fed or whoever it was that was going in to straighten things out, from what I heard, the big CEOs in the bank, they got their bonus. So that tells me right from the door, people, that no one cares about you. It's all about the money. And they was talking about saying the government was going to stand behind. At first, they said the FDIC would only cover up to 250,000. But I think Biden came in and said, "Well, look, whoever has money in that loss, the money will be uh, put back in the bank. They would have access to the amount of money that they had, except with the exception of the investors, which I mean makes sense. I mean, last time I think the investors got paid, and on top of that, I think it was 2008 or whatever when Bear Stearns and all the major big banks was too big to fail. I think they all got reimbursed, even with bonuses. But um, this is not the small people. This is the middle class or upper middle class. So when you stand back and take a look at things, you know, anybody will ride a horse when it's running good. People, these people cannot be trusted. And this is just using common sense. But apparently, the way things are going, or have been going, see, you only care about yourself. So as long as you're making money and getting those dividends paid to you, it's okay. You don't care anything about the little man, low income, middle class one and two. No, you don't care anything about those because you're making yours. But now yours is in jeopardy. But my question is still, where's the money though? If the money was there, okay, now the money is missing, the government has to step in and replace the money. I mean, using common sense, unless I'm missing something, where's the money? Somebody's still getting paid. But I guess if you don't ask questions about it, I guess you're so happy to find out that your money is insured and that the government going to take over the uh, above the $250,000 mark. So I guess you're happy. But these are criminals. These people are criminals. And the only way that things are going to get straightened out. I mean, from the top all the way down, people are going to have to be held accountable for what they are doing. Because you know what, people, this has really gotten out of hand. It's out of hand. You know, it's the banks, politicians, presidents, the judges. I mean, you know, the handwriting is on the wall. This is just unacceptable. And for people to be sitting back thinking that this is acceptable when it isn't, then something's wrong with you. And all I'm saying is just use some common sense. In order for this thing to get cleaned up, people are going to have to be held accountable for what they're doing. Bottom line. And and we have got to start being realistic and stop putting band-aids on amputees. Because the problems that's happening, the problems and things that we are seeing today, it doesn't, or should I say, it's not something that's uh, just happening. What we are seeing is the manifestation of seeds that was sown years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And continuously to be uh, manifesting today based on those same seeds that was planted 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And I'm talking about uh, kids that have not been educated properly, kids that have not uh, been brought up in the basic, in a good neighborhood, should I say? I guess the only way to say it, just in a neighborhood with two parents, uh, kids that have not been uh, taught properly. And when I say taught properly, I mean, you know, you have to have taught morals. You have to have value of money. You have to be taught about the laws. It's things that's necessary in order to make you a citizen to the point whereas you will not be out here wasting your life away. You will not be out here committing crimes and doing things that's going to get you locked up, where the majority of your young years will be spent behind bars. This is not the answer. These programs, there's a lot of programs out here, but let me tell you something. These people out here, if you haven't been educated, and some of these movies, I saw a movie, excuse me, I saw a movie uh, about 2 weeks ago. It's all black. And if this movie had a thing from the sixth, seventh grade right to jail, all it was about being on the street, flashing money, selling drugs, getting money, being with the girls, partying, with the guns, killing. That's all this movie was all about. Even a little, there was a little 7, 8 year old, maybe 10-year old kid. He had his little jumpsuit on. Oh, I'm not going to school today. I'm out here getting money. Kids watching that mess, man. This is why they're out there. And it shows. Excuse me. And then you talk about like all of a sudden you see all this killing and stuff that's going on with all these guns in the neighborhood and the drugs. And then you think all of a sudden you can just come out and put police on the street and come out with this program and this program and the drugs going to stop? Mm-mm. No, how is it going to stop? This is programmed. This is instilled in these children. No education. Only thing they have seen the way to get money is with the gun, the drugs. It's the only way they've seen know how to get money. So until you come out and show them another way and take some of this money and put it in some programs to teach these kids how to earn money, teach them how to uh, make money, would get into plumbing, electrician, teach them how to make jewelry, how to be a chef, how to be a bricklayer, how to move on to be lawyers and doctors, accountants and scientists. This is what these kids need to do. And not only that, we're going into the age of technology. Have schools where you can have computers, break them down, let them build them back up. Have games, but let them know how to make games and program these things and move on from school into college, become engineers. This is the only way you're going to stop this. Just putting added security and police officers on the street. I mean, we need them, yes, but at the same time, that's not the solution to the problem. And every time I hear that, I just can't understand what these people are thinking. This just didn't happen overnight. This is the product of us not doing what we should have been doing. Because when you really think about it, and America, this is a business. It's a business. And crime, people being uneducated, is business. It's big business for those who want to make money. It's beneficial for those. Look in the ghetto. Look in the neighborhood where the low income is. Look at the stores that's in the neighborhood. The people in that neighborhood making money. You understand? So therefore, if those people weren't in the neighborhood, if they were intelligent, had a decent education, and got a decent job, they wouldn't be buying that stuff that they buying. They wouldn't be loading these jails up with our young. You see, because the jails is business. Excuse me. The prison system is a privately owned business company, or however you want to label it. You know, guy once said one time. He said that some stores or companies, retail, sell their pay their people a certain amount, because if they paid them too much, then they wouldn't shop in their stores. I thought about that thing for a minute. I said, you know what? They got something there. So it's all about making money and using common sense. If you yourself, listen to what I'm telling you now, if you yourself do not take a look at what's happening around you and step outside this picture and say, you know what do I want to do with my life? Because you're in control. Believe it or not, as difficult as things may appear to be, you know, you can overcome it. But when you have help, it's easier for you. When you have people and family members and friends in the same thinking in the same way, moving in the same direction, you know, it's a lot easier. And this is for some reason we as a people don't seem to understand the importance of working together. You know, we don't see the importance of pooling our money together, and we just have to start taking better care of ourselves. Uh, it bothers me. A lot of things I like to talk about, and I don't, but for fear of hurting people's feelings. But sometimes you have to get your feelings hurt in order for you to uh, get it together. And I believe it or not, I accept people for who they are, and I think should. Everybody should accept people for who they are, and I think people should be proud of who they are. Uh, be proud of your appearance, what you look like, and because when you think about it and you look at nature, there's beauty in diversity. There's beauty in being different. It's exciting. But we as a people to think that one race of people is better than another simply because of the color of your skin. Man, that's one of the most ignorant statements I have ever heard. It's not. And I don't care what color you are, if you believe that, then you're just out of touch. You're out of touch. Because, people, the true value of a human being is what that individual have to contribute toward humanity. And and the same on the flip side of that coin, what makes an individual terrible and dangerous is what they do to humanity and our planet. And I think it's time for us as a people. And I don't think we have a lot of time. I really don't think we have a lot of time left to be making a whole lot of uh, decisions that supposedly require a lot of thinking, but in all actuality, it really doesn't. Um, but there's a lot of things happening, and let's not forget those earthquakes we just had over in Turkey and Syria at 7.8, 7.9 on the Richter scale. That's huge. That's huge. Let's not forget we just had a train derailment, toxic chemicals on it. Let's not forget the floods that we're having out in California and the storms and tornadoes we're having. Let's not forget the winters, the place where we should be having winters, we're not. And as quiet as it kept, we're not hearing a lot of talk about fresh water rights. But from what I'm hearing, fresh water is it's getting scarce. And when you really sit back and think about it, I mean, who owns the fresh water rights? Who owns them? Never even talked about. I mean, it's just a lot. It's too much going on for people to be sitting around here thinking about nonsense. And for it seems like we're being steered in a certain direction for a reason. We talk about inflation. Is there really inflation? And then on the flip side, there really could be. But one thing is for sure, somebody is making a lot of money. Every time I hear about profits, all these companies are making record profits. But they saying, everything is going up. It's going up, but people are making money. So does it go up in order to slow things down? Is that why prices are increased? Do people get together and decide, hey, well, we're going to do this. We're going to control the flow of the economy. You have got to. And every time I turn around, now they done came out with, well, if you stop doing this, this will cure this. But yet you've been doing this for the last 30, 40 years. Now all of a sudden, oh, don't do that anymore. You got to do this now. For every action, there's a reaction. Common sense. Every action, there's a reaction. And even if you get that and you put something else there, there's going to be a reaction from that. Never talk moderation. People don't care what you eat as long as you eat it and buy it. You know, you have a teacher that teach her kids in a public teach kids in a public school, but guess what? She'll send her kids to a private school. Hey, you see actors and actresses that make these horror, bloodthirsty movies. You and your kids can watch them, but they don't allow their kids to watch. Nobody. It seems like no one gives a hoot about you people. And I don't care what color you are. At the end of the day, it's about the money. But at least when it comes down to the nitty gritty between you and someone in their race, quite naturally they're gonna help their race first. I would think. I mean, just using common sense. But at the same time, there's a such thing as first come, first serve. But you can't rely on that. You've got to start thinking about your own. You've got to start thinking about your own people. And you have to stop. Not that you have to, but I think you should stop thinking about just me, or I. There's a lot of other people in this world. You did not get where you are today by yourselves. You did not. Back in the 60s, people 60s and 50s, 40s and 30s, people died, man. They fought and died for you to be in a position to get what you have. And then once you get it, you forget about your families. Because we're all family. You forget about your family. You better go out here and take buy 20 mansions, 300 cars, diamonds. I heard something the other day about diamonds. You better check them. They're talking about uh, artificial diamonds, diamonds that's made in a laboratory that you cannot tell the difference. Take that one and smoke it. There's diamonds that's made in a lab that you cannot tell the difference. You need a really, really high power, expensive machine to be able to tell the difference between the fake diamonds and the real diamonds. So you better think about that now. Yeah, I heard that on the news. Matter of fact, they had a whole show on it. You don't. You don't know. If you got something where a jeweler can't even tell, what do you think you can tell? So you better check them. And this is just how it is. But the thing that gets me, I mean, even a real diamond, if it's worth something, but if you're hungry, you can't eat it. Think about that too. See, so we have to do so much to try and make things better for our uh, younger generation. We have to educate them. We have not been doing our jobs, and that's a fact. If we have been doing our jobs, we would not be going through this. You know, not 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 at the rate that we're going through it. And it's not going to happen overnight. I don't care how many people you put on the street. It's not going to happen because these are rotten apples. I hate to use that term, but I'm trying to put it in a term where we can understand it. That has been sown. We haven't gotten the weeds out. When the plants was growing, we didn't get the weeds out, and we should have. I heard something the other day. There was so many billions, billions and billions of dollars that's being allocated for gun violence. Well, what about some of them billions and build some schools, tear down some of these old prison-like schools, build some modern schools that's going to hold the children's interests. Put some really good science things in there, man. That's going to take their mind into outer space. Put some stuff in there that's working with computers, technology, AI. Give something to hold these children's interests. And then have some workshops over to the left. You know what I'm saying? And just let them get in there and put hands on and make learning exciting. And let them do it. Teach them how to read and write. And parents have got to jump in there and do their job. You just can't sit back and, oh, okay, kids, come on and go in there and do. No, and give them a cell phone, have them go in there and do the home. No, it's not going to work. These kids are brilliant. They are. All of them are. All of them. But you don't even know how brilliant they are because you don't even test them. You don't even put challenges in front of them. I was I was doing some work in this family's home, and that little girl, I guess 6, 7 years old, and I'm telling you, to hear this girl play the piano, you think she was, I mean, played in the orchestra of something. This is how this little girl really played the piano, and how she could talk. And the house must have had, oh, 3 or 4 thousand books. Yeah, yeah. And she could read, she could do math. The child was a genius. But guess what? She was studying. Her mother and her father was right there with her. Wasn't no televisions. I'm sure they probably had a room where they maybe had maybe a half an hour a day to watch certain type of programs. But no, not all this BS, man. You got to put the time in to get time out. And this is what's wrong today. Nobody wants to put the time in, but everybody wants to get time out. They want to do this. They want to come out, people that's coming out, go out and spend a fortune and look like somebody else other than themselves. And I don't understand it. But that's how we have been taught. That's how we have been programmed to program outside of ourselves and not to search inside of ourselves and find our capabilities and what we can do and take pride in just who we are, how we look. You know, you can, you look just as good I'm telling you, back in the 60s, that's when the afros was out. Oh, power, pride, you know. They would just use you have your hair. There's so many different, beautiful, different styles you can wear using your own hair. I long for that day to come back. Um, something got lost there, something between there and now. So much has gotten lost. I even see little kids having weaves and stuff like that. It's people do what they want, but you are who you are. Take pride in who you are. And I don't know. It's probably a reason. Well, there is a reason for it. Um, and I think the whole thing needs to be revamped. You know, we need to pay more attention to each other, to one another, respect one another. Let your word let your word mean something. People tell a lie to drop of a hat, knowing all the time they're lying, but they're gonna tell a lie anyway. Then wonder why nobody trusts you. Then sometimes it seems as though we're harder on our own people than anybody else. And it's the reason why we're in the situation that we're in, that we do not have to be in this situation. And things is moving, people. I ride through different neighborhoods, man, and you should see the new houses that's being built. People are being moved out. Excuse me. And once you move out these neighborhoods, you can't get back in anymore. And you know, you only have uh, so much, so much land. More and more people are being born every day. More and more people are coming into the country every day. So, so it's not like it used to be. There was a time when things were plentiful and apartments was cheap. Houses were cheap and expensive. It's not the case today. There was times that if you rent an apartment, it's no problem to get you out. Now, it's hard for a realtor to get you out of that apartment for non-payment of rent. Not easy. So therefore, it make it difficult for you to rent. See, a lot of these things come back on us. Sometimes we think we're being smart, but at the end of the day, sometimes you're only hurting yourself because it'll come back to bite you. So if they realize that you can't uh, if they realize they can't get you out, it's going to take a while to get you out if for non-payment of rent. So therefore, they're going to make you pay 3 or 4 months rent in advance. Okay, yeah, they're going to do that, and then they're going to run a check. Man, you got to meet the credit check. Everybody don't have. Everybody pays. A lot of people pays their bills, but they don't have. As far as the credit rating is concerned, their credit rating isn't up to par. But that doesn't mean they don't pay their bills. But if this is the case, then you would just happen to fall in between those lines. So you have to have A1 credit. So it just makes things difficult all the way around. And it's terrible. And it's getting tougher every day to find a decent place to live. Um, then on the flip side, I find too that the low income, middle class, we're just like a means to a dollar for the rich, business people, because they just take advantage of us. Because first of all, we're not knowledgeable on how things work. We're not together. We've never been taught what to do with money, so we just spend, 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 no matter what it is, even though it's way above our pay grade. If we want it, we're gonna just spend it. And excuse me, get credit cards. They tell me you can get a credit card for $350 and make a payment every month and take you 10 years to pay it back. But that's the truth. It's a game. It's a game. I'm telling you, I don't. I just and I've been through it. I mean, I see it. I see it. But you just can't continue to be a part or participate in something at the level you're doing it, when in all actuality you can't afford to be playing that game. And that's the only way you're gonna get ahead. You never get ahead by constantly spending, spending, spending. Ever. Never. There's no way. There's no way possible. Wall Street's the only one I know where you can get money out of thin air for nothing. Wall Street. Yeah. And then these people, like a lot of these business people, if you don't have any knowledge of anything, especially seniors, man. If you're a senior citizen and you need some help, God help you. Because some of the people will eat you alive. I had a guy come to my house to do some plumbing. And I tell you, he wasn't here 20 minutes. And all he did was just run a little hose. Boy, he wasn't here 20 minutes. He wanted $500. You know what I said? $500. Wasn't Didn't have to get his hands dirty. Now, just run a little air tube right down the drain. $500. And I cried so much. I said, "Man, this doesn't even make sense." So he let me go for 400. But still, that was robbery. But you at his mercy. I mean, what can you do? You don't know something, and with something like plumbing, electricity, other things that really have roofs and stuff like that, you don't find somebody that's honest, you're in trouble. You're in serious trouble. And they're not like they used to be back in the day. Back in the day, somebody come to you, give you a price, it's an honest price. You didn't have to question it. But it's not them, it's everybody. Because when you look at them, they might even be getting charged, you see. They may not have any choice but to charge me because somebody on the other end is charging them. And the person at the top is getting all the money. That's why the rich get richer and the poor gets poor. It's just using common sense. You need to work together. You need to start taking better care of yourself. Start eating better. You understand? You have to. You have to. But what's happening too is, see, a lot of things uh, is changing too. Uh, for an example, uh, say like people don't eat meat. Let's take a meat eater for example. Person that does not eat meat, and if you don't need these jaw breaking teeth to chew and gnaw, bite on stuff. But if you don't use them, eventually over time, humans aren't going to have these hard teeth like they have now. That's called adaptation. Everything changes gradually. You see, it's just like we don't see it. We don't see it, but the sea level is rising. When those poles are melting and that air and that ice is thawing out, sea level is rising. When you really notice it, you could see something underwater. You know what I'm saying? Everything changes, cause and effect. And we need to start paying attention. And don't just start wait till you start dying to holler, save me, or start looking for a cure when you had an opportunity to do it all the time. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. The mind is a very, very powerful. I can't even tell you how powerful it is because I haven't reached that point yet. But I have reached the point that just like a focal point that you can focus on a part of your body and you can change that. You see, but you have to believe it. See, faith is that power, that zeal that goes behind or in front of that belief that you have to make things happen. In other words, faith is assurance of things hoped for, wished for. Because, say, for example, there was an experiment some years ago, maybe last year, I don't know, but so they gave this woman a pill. Told her this pill would cure some ailment in her body, but the pill was just sugar. But the thing about it is, that pill was a focal point. She believed so much in that pill that that pill would cure her. It did it. She took the pill and the pill cured her. Yeah, and that's true. That's a true fact. That's a true fact. See, that's why even the like religions and prayers and stuff, that's why prayers is so important. Faith, that's why faith is so important. That's why miracles come into play. People can't understand it. And which is makes sense. If you don't understand how the mind works, how the body works, then how would you understand? But there's a reason for things, people. And we venture so much outside of ourselves that we don't have a clue. Or the little clue that we do have is nothing. Nothing compared to the energy that's stored in the human body and ignited by the power of the mind. I had a thought the other day. It's not funny, but And when I got to thinking about the power in man and how much energy, strength, the thought came to me that, man could, he could pick them boulders up and make the pyramids and walk them suckers right on up there. Think about it. Trillions of atoms is composed the human body, and there's enough energy in one atom that could demolish a large building. And the human body is composed of trillions of the same identical atoms. What if man back in that time could tap that energy? Can't deny it. We just haven't gotten there yet. We choose to we choose to function outside of ourselves more so than the inside. That's a difference. It's a big difference. Big difference. You know, big difference. So I think it's time for people. If well, I'm not saying it's time for people to do because I can't say what people do, but I can say based on my experiences that I've had that we're going out the back door. This physical world that we live in brings sickness and death as we can look around us and we can see it. Bottom line, that's what comes out of this physical state that we're in. So look around, look around. You know, people don't even know that. Uh, just to touch on a little bit of what I've experienced. That um, the sperm in the human body. I'm a man, so I'm speaking from a man's point of view. The sperm in a male body is the vital fluid of your nervous system. And the reason why you have that feeling that's caused an orgasm is that at that time you're draining the fluid from your nervous system. And that's what caused that feeling all over your body. But because you're in a physical state of mind, it feels good. But being in a spiritual state of mind and this same thing happening in the human body, it's one of the most painful things you've ever felt because what you feel life draining from your body. Now think about that. Yeah. You never heard that before. Never heard it before. But it's real. So I'm going to leave that alone for right now. But there's more important things in life than things, but in a physical state of mind and in a physical existence, this is what it is. This is what it is. But for those who haven't, for those who continue uh, chase the chase the fake rabbit, you just keep running. But I'm seeing more and more people every day are catching that fake rabbit and realizing that it's fake and they stop running after it. And when you stop running after that fake rabbit, then you have a chance to really focus on life and see what it's really about, and use this life that you have to make the right choices to create an avenue to the hereafter. because death is not the ending, it is the beginning. It's the beginning. And where you go is going to depend on the choices that you make here and now. So I can't stress this enough. I talk about it. Um, I'm trying to help people. I have a nonprofit that's New by Lou Incorporated. It is to help poor, the middle class, low income, interior painting and design, and so many other things that uh, people need help with. They need to talk about. They need things cleared up. With the interior painting and design, I can come in and paint your house, your apartment, and make it look nice and presentable for you, and design it. Doesn't cost you anything. All I ask is if you have it, little donation to keep me moving until I get to the point that I won't need any donations from anybody, and all of it would just be free to help people. And this is what we need to do. Uh, my telephone number is 215-432-7448. New by Lou Incorporated. It's a nonprofit, and I'm here to help. And this is what we need to do because we can build. We can build our own uh, apartments. We can build our own neighborhoods, put stores, put shops, man. Summer is coming. We need to be out in the street with tables on the street and sitting down and cool of the night, man. You can be having a little bottle of wine or club soda or whatever it is and eating some good food, talking, good conversation. We can do this, but we're losing it. We're losing our community to the developers. We're losing our children to the jails, to drugs. And girls, you got to stop. You've got to take pride in your bodies. You got to stop out here with just partying and partying and partying. You are all you have. The most important thing that you have that you could give to anyone is yourself. That's something not to be passed around like I would think. Focus on that education. Have you ever noticed something? When you get education, you get a good education, you get a good job, you making money, you don't have to worry about anybody. You don't have to worry about anybody or anything. I'm telling you. You see some people, you wouldn't even think got some of the most beautiful partners you ever seen. It's all about the money. People talk about love, love, love. As long as you get what you want, if you like respect, you get that. You like to be treated like a queen, you get that. That's all you can get from anybody. You don't care. Get that money. Get that education. You have nothing to worry about. You don't have to worry about, I'm telling you, you get that education and make that money. You don't have to worry about anybody because this country and the world floats on the dollar. I'm going to give it to you straight. All this mess you're doing out here, this little nonsense, little nickel and dime mess, is nothing. And it's going to get you nothing. Get the money. Get educated. Feel good about yourself. Force yourself to stay in the house and pick up a book and read it. Turn the TV off for a night. Put the cell phone down. You have got to change if you want your life to change. And I'm going to tell you, that's the only way you're going to get it. but it's here. And the more people you get a circle of people that think like you. Just because you got somebody over here, they supposed to be super hip, blah, blah. Let them be hip. You read that book. You get you get educated. You go to college. You become an engineer, whatever you want. Be that. There's a lot more stuff to do out here besides just, just be help somebody do that. You can be top dog. Trust me. You don't have to worry about anything. If you focus on your education, you don't have to worry about anything. That's right. Looks don't mean nothing. Means nothing. Look at some of these guys. Now, I'm not just saying that. Look at them. Look at these millionaires with all that money. And imagine them without the money. You think they would have what they have? No. Same thing with the women. Same thing. No. They wouldn't have it. It's the money. It's all about the money. So look, on that note, uh, it's always good though. It's always good. I don't even know how many people listen to me if they do, but I tell you something. Think about it using common sense. I give you some common sense, man. And I'm not sitting up here bragging. Most people haven't lived the life I've lived. And if they have, they haven't lived no better life than I've lived. And I don't even have any money. Frankly, I don't even care anything about it. But you need it. You know? And the only reason I feel this way, because I fell upon it a little bit at one point in my life. I had the life. The life is the life. I don't care where it's come from, whether it's there or there or there. It's still the same. You know. But I was blessed. I was blessed. Woke up one day and said, "Whoa, let me get out of here." I started running and never looked back. But anyway, thank you all so much. And you know what else too? You have wonderful, wonderful friends. Just being real. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. The people that you have, friends that you have, and the people that you meet along the way. And oh my goodness. I tell people all the time, I'm one of the richest man in the world and don't have a dime. On that note, people, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. Have a great night.